What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today, we have borrowed the 2019 Mercedes-AMG CLS53 4MATIC Plus Coupe Edition 1. I know that was a mouthful, from Atlanta Classic Cars. Mercedes-Benz first introduced the CLS to us about 13 years ago, and when that car first came out, there was nothing like it on the street. It single-handedly created a new segment to the automotive industry classified as four-door coupes. Fast forward to 2012, the CLS got a complete redesign, and in my opinion, that design wasn't as graceful as the first generation, but needless to say, it sold. To date, Mercedes-Benz has sold over 375,000 CLS coupes. Fast forward to present day, we now have the 2019 CLS, which looks stunning in my opinion. This particular paintwork is called graphite gray metallic, and the interior is done in a black Napa leather with copper stitching. The interior of this one is really stunning. So today, I want to get into the exterior and interior details and see how this ride has been engineered for excellence. But before we get started, if you're interested in this vehicle, please be sure to reach out to my friend Jesse Cannon-Wallace at Atlanta Classic Cars. Let's go ahead and get started. Taking a look at the front, if you step back, this car kind of resembles a hammerhead shark, and I think that's partially due to the way the headlamps have been designed to channel inward towards the center of the car. And speaking of the headlamps, they feature multi-beam LEDs. Now coming over towards the grille, it leans forward a little bit, giving it a more aggressive stance, and you have a twin blade radiator design as well, which is something that was only reserved for AMG models with a handcrafted V8, but as you can see, it's made it onto the CLS53 model. Coming lower, you'll notice this car has sculpted bodywork, typical of Mercedes-Benz, but if you look closely, you'll see that this bodywork doesn't feature any open vents, and that's done on purpose. Mercedes-Benz wanted to prevent any additional drag while this car is in motion. But if you look closely on the inner portion of the sculpted bodywork, you'll notice there's some slits incorporated into the design. Why are those slits there? Mercedes-Benz incorporated those slits so that air can flow into them and go around the wheels, bringing laminar flow around the wheels while the car is in motion. The side profile of the third generation CLS might be where you notice some of the most drastic changes. If you remember the second generation CLS, you'll note that there were a lot of excessive lines going throughout the side profile. So for the third generation, designers made an effort to clean that up, giving it an overall streamlined appeal. So it's really simplified and looks really elegant in my opinion. Of course, you have your traditional high shoulder line, which is found throughout all CLS generations. Now, one of my favorite features about the CLS is the frameless windows. I really love how you open the door and it's just the glass here, no frame. I've always thought that was really cool. As we make our way towards the rear, you'll see the roofline of the CLS slopes seamlessly and smoothly into the trunk lid, a typical design cue of any CLS before it. Now the trunk lid features a spoiler. That's going to get you additional downforce on the rear axle and provide you enhanced stability at speeds. Let's take a look at the tail lamps. This is something I really want to hit on. They feature a trapezoidal design, but if you look closely, you'll notice that for the first time in any CLS, we have a two-piece design where the tail lamps have been integrated into the trunk lid. The tail lamps also feature the Mercedes-Benz Stardust effect, which is a feature we first saw in the E-Class when it was released in 2017. Coming lower, the CLS53 features an AMG performance exhaust system with quad exhaust tips. Now the AMG performance exhaust system features flaps that open and close depending on what driving mode you're in. This allows the sound to be escalated or de-escalated, and we'll get to hear that a little bit later in the review. Jumping into driving dynamics, the CLS53 features the same 115.7-inch wheelbase that's found in the E-Class, and it should because the cars are based on the same platform. Now, if you've been with this channel for a while, back in 2017, we did a technical review of the E300, and one of the changes I mentioned that Mercedes-Benz did for this generation was extend the wheelbase to promote a smoother ride. So since the cars share the same wheelbase, that means this CLS is going to get that same smooth ride, but in a car that looks way more aggressive. Now, taking it a step further, the CLS53 features AMG Ride Control, which offers you 3 different levels of firmness. You also have an air suspension, which is able to raise or lower the car. So when traveling at high speeds, it's going to lower the car for enhanced stability. That, in combination with this car's 4MATIC Plus system, which is able to vary the torque distribution, provides for an exceptionally well-handling vehicle. Taking a look at the wheels, tires, and brakes, this particular CLS is finished with the 20-inch AMG black 5 twin-spoke wheels that feature a high sheen finish. Now, they're shot in Pirelli P0s that are 245 up front and 275 in the rear. Your brake rotors up front are 14.6 inches in diameter, cross-drilled and internally ventilated, and grasped by 4-piston, silver-painted calipers that feature AMG lettering. Now in the rear, your brake rotors are 14.2 inches in diameter and grasped by single-piston sliding calipers. Taking a look underneath the hood of the CLS53 are where things start to get really interesting. So underneath the hood, your power plant will be a 3-liter straight 6 that's been turbocharged. So your output's going to be 429 horsepower at 6,100 RPM and 384 pound-foot of torque at the low engine speed of 1,800 RPM. Now let's just stop for a second. If we think back a few years, when the 2013 Mercedes-Benz SL550 was introduced, that car featured a 4.7-liter bi-turbo V8 and had an output of 429 horsepower. Isn't it amazing to see a 3-liter straight 6 put out the same horsepower rating a V8 did a few years ago? But it gets even sweeter. Mercedes-Benz has also fitted the CLS53 with its EQ boost system. This is a 48-volt electrical system that integrates a motor between the transmission and the engine. What this does is give you short spurts of boost while the turbo is spooling up to prevent any turbo lag. So that motor provides you with 21 additional horsepower and 184 pound-foot of torque. All of this connected to a 9G-tronic transmission gives you a 0 to 60 time of 4.4 seconds. So there are some key benefits to Mercedes-Benz incorporating their EQ boost system into the CLS53. Number one, you're going to get an electric water pump and electric AC compressor as well, eliminating any traditional engine ancillaries, giving you extremely easy cold starts. And number two, when you're in eco mode, your engine start-stop function is not going to cause the car to judder at every stoplight or when you hit the accelerator. It's going to be really smooth and seamless, and you're not really going to be able to tell when the engine cuts back on. So with that being said, let's go ahead and listen to the exhaust note. Since we've heard the exhaust note, let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Let's go ahead and close up the hood and check out the interior of this CLS53 Edition 1. Sitting in the CLS53 Edition 1, one of the first things that you're going to notice is the wealth of beautifully constructed materials. You have the black Nappa leather that features copper stitching. You even have carbon fiber with copper accents integrated into its design. That is incredible. Starting at the top of the dash, again, it's covered in that smooth black leather with copper stitching. Coming further down, you have dual 12.3-inch display screens. We mentioned these in quite a few vehicles before, but again, they're just really clear and vibrant, very easy to read. I really love how Mercedes-Benz is incorporating these screens in their cars. Further down, you have these turbine-style like air conditioning vents. Personally, as an aerospace engineer, I think these are really cool with the turbine-style theme. You twist to close them or twist them back to open them. Now, another cool feature about these air conditioning vents is, depending on what temperature setting you have them on, they will illuminate red or blue. So red would be for warmer and then blue would be for cooler. Coming further down, you have your hotkeys for your navigation, radio, media, and telephone, as well as an IWC clock incorporated into the overall design of the center console. Coming further back, again, that carbon fiber trim with copper accents. Press down here, you have 2 cup holders, and then coming further back, you have controls for your command system. Again, you have that dynamic select button, which allows you to cycle through your Eco, Comfort, Sport, or Sport Plus mode, giving you full access to that AMG Performance exhaust system. Coming further back, you have a button to control the transmission manually and a button for your air suspension to raise or lower the car. You also have volume controls on this side and a button to open or close the flaps of that AMG Performance exhaust system as well. Further back in the center of the console, you have storage here along with 2 USB ports. This CLS53 is fitted with an AMG Performance steering wheel with the flat bottom, and I love the design of these things. This one has Edition 1 labeled on the bottom of the steering wheel, and of course it has that beautiful, stunning bright work we're starting to see in a lot of Mercedes-Benz vehicles. It also incorporates the use of the 2 touchpads that were introduced to us back in 2017 via the E-Class. These touchpads allow you to cycle through the instrument cluster or the navigation system as well without being too distracted. Behind the steering wheel, you have 2 thick aluminum shift paddles if you want to manually operate that 9G-tronic transmission. The door panels are covered in black leather with that copper contrast stitching. They also feature carbon fiber trim with the copper accents as well. I love that. You have those Burmester speakers that pop out at you, and then you have controls for your seating, 3 levels of heating and cooling as well, and a button that even allows you to control the passenger side seat from the driver's seat. Coming lower, you have an aluminum door handle, your unlock and lock buttons, controls for all 4 windows and side view mirrors, and then storage on the bottom of the door as well. The seating in this car is typical of Mercedes-Benz, meaning that it is extremely comfortable. The seats are covered in a smooth and supple black Nappa leather with perforations to bring you that cool air as well to keep you nice and dry. Coming up further, you have Dynamica accents and copper stitching going along the side bolsters as well. And speaking of side bolsters, this seat features active multi-contour seating, which means the side bolsters can inflate or deflate to keep you planted in the center of the seat while driving aggressively. So everything in this interior just works really well. I'm extremely comfortable. This is easily an interior that you can enjoy for quite some time. Now I will say, sitting in the back, the roofline is a little low, which is expected of a car with this design, but it's not too much of a problem for me. I'm about 5'11", and I could sit back here for quite some time, but there is just a little bit of headspace here for me. Now coming over towards the door panels, they're covered in that black leather with copper contrast stitching as well. Again, you have that stunning carbon fiber trim with copper accents, aluminum door handles, and some storage on the bottom as well. That was a brief overview of the brand new 2019 Mercedes-AMG CLS53 4MATIC Plus Coupe Edition 1. The interior of this car is amazing. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this car. 429 horsepower out of a 3-liter straight-6 turbocharged power plant. Figures we used to get out of a 4.7-liter bi-turbo V8 just a few years ago. If you're interested in this vehicle, please be sure to reach out to my friend Jesse Cannon-Wallace at Atlanta Classic Cars. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next one.